And we're off to the races. Ladies and gentlemen, I am beyond excited because some time ago I was with this group of young rock stars already in the making, you could say, because they've already auditioned for, I think, America's Got Talent and a few other sort of, shows where they're looking for talent, like a bandstand. If you guys remember that, you old enough. I better remember the next generation, next gen of it. But super thrilled because tonight I have this dude that's unbelievable. He helps think of School of Rock, as it were, with like Jack Black, right? And that sort of thing. Well, this dude has a band camp. It's a rock band camp. He tells us all about it. He's traveled the world in the seven seas. He lived in Spain. All right, the motherland. This guy is phenomenal. Today's episode, you guys, we're hanging out with someone who's changing the game in local music, man. This dude is phenomenal. He's an educator. He's he founded the rock band camp in the wonderful Camp Revolution in the wonderful city of, I think it's Rosemead or St. Gabriel. Either way, I know the cities well. As you know, I lived in Alhambra for many, many years. He teaches the students to find their confidence, find their voice, within their community. So he's doing a lot. And he also was the guy that was trying to hide behind the horsemen, right? The young men that I had on the live, these rock stars. But I saw him and I go, hey, dude, you're the one, man. You're it, dude. You're the oracle, bro. Like, you got that music. He's got the look. Wait till you meet this guy. Without further ado, guys, help me welcome to the stage, as it were, Mr. Andrew Serra.
Hi, Jim. Hi, everyone. So
Hey,
excited to be here. Yeah.
yeah, dude, the excitement is palpable. You are, my friend, you're a legend in the making, dude. The fact that you work with so many students in the beautiful San Gabriel Valley, kudos to you, man. And you look like Nikki Sixx meets, like I told you, right? You Nikki Sixx, but you got the Elvis Presley glasses also. It's like your own little fusion, as it were. So I got a lot of questions, needless to say, but before we delve into the questions and all that other wonderful stuff, um, I wanted to, I wanted to congratulate you on that. And how are the horsemen? Tell us about how, what do you call it? And then we'll just jump back and forth. As you know, I'm all over the place. That's who I am, but I
Sounds
have
good.
questions structured just for you, so don't worry. The horsemen, they were in, tell us about this new show that they went and they showcased their talents. It's a talent show. Tell us about it. It's televised.
Yeah, the Horsemen recently had just great, just engagement with their TikTok and their Instagram,
Mm-hmm.
and they got quite a few views. Was pretty awesome, and they were invited to play at the Fools Gone Wild
That
event. I
was
think that
great.
was about 2 weekends ago, and that was awesome. They had a blast. The crowd and the support there was unbelievable. And then the following day, they played the Montebello Heritage Festival. Once again, the big stage, their hometown. Everyone's just loving them and cheering them on. And yeah, it was just a great experience for them. And by the time we kind of wrapped it up, when we do our normal lesson on Monday, the kids were excited, having a blast. But I mean, me as an adult, I get really tired myself. Maybe they don't, I'm not sure, but I think they were at about the level where, like, yeah, we're cool to just hang out, eat some
Yeah,
chips and pizza, and just talk about all that's happened.
sure.
I, and yeah, they were really excited that Metallica, I think, even saw one of their
They
posts and posted on
reposted
their
them,
site.
I
Yeah.
think.
So
Yeah, they
yeah, that's
reposted
what's
on
going on
TikTok.
there. Yeah.
So it's exciting. But they also went to a talent show, I think. I don't know which one it is, like a big one, American Got Talent or one of those. It's in American, obviously, here. And I think that's the last thing I heard lately. But they're all over the place, all over the map.
Yeah.
It's the
Yeah,
beauty.
that they didn't tell me about that one yet. Maybe that's a surprise.
I
But
don't know,
that's awesome.
man.
That's amazing.
Yeah. I got to tell you, man, when I met you, I was humbled because you help out a lot of students and you do a lot of wonderful things. So God bless you for that. Hats off, figuratively, and actually I could do it. Hats off, literally. You do a lot of a lot of good in the San Gabriel Valley, and I lived in Alhambra for a long time, so I know the areas very well. My dad worked for Santa Anita Racetrack
Mm.
most of my life, so I am very familiar with Arcadia, and I know you do stuff there. We're gonna hear all about it. So it's great because this passion of yours grows from loving music, and somehow I think vicariously you live through the new students that the students that you're almost helping hone that talent and skill set, as it were, and you're living via them, and you're watching them grow, but you're also watching kind of like maybe when you were a child you wanted to be a rock star back then, you know and I get the feeling, this is me, I might be wrong, and then I see you see yourself almost in a childlike form, like this is what I was born to do. Inspire the youth of tomorrow to be great and rock stars. But you yourself, in your own right, I mean, you play, I mean, you're phenomenal talent. You played in Spain, prestigious guitarist over there. We're taught by the best of the best. And you're also a martial artist, as I understand. So you wear many hats, my man. We're gonna kind of peel back on some of the layers. So you're originally from Rosemead, California. Is that right?
Yes, absolutely. Born in Arcadia Methodist Hospital, and
Wow.
yeah, just a native Californian, Rosemead, Angelino, whatever you want to call it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah, that's fantastic. I love like I said, I finished talking about those are the areas I'm very familiar with because growing up we always went out east. We had family in San Gabriel and Pasadena, you know, and I brought it and it was fun to go there and in a lot of places they used to have a guitar. I remember vividly going to a guitar shop um in Alhambra on Main. They used to have a guitar shop there, right? Mama something, um, and they would teach you guitar lessons there, and there'd be like some former musicians that were teaching guitar, and I thought that was very inspiring. And yeah, I would buy like guitar strings for my guitars back when I was younger in my teens, and it was close to right smack between Rick's Burgers, if I remember correctly. I have to recollect.
might have been
Okay,
like Dreenies, or I know Johnny Thompson was in
that
Monterey
would
Park.
that would Madrini's. There you
Yeah,
go, bro. Madrini's jogging. I'm
Petrini. Yeah, I
kind of
think.
like
Yeah,
freaking jogging my mind, like, dude. I'm like
yeah,
Madrini's, bro.
right.
Madrini's many years ago, and you'd see like a few people that were in bands that would be helping the students with music lessons, that sort of thing. And I thought that was very inspiring. And then of course you go grab a burger at Rick's, right?
Oh yeah.
Because it's a crime not to. Now, did you ever play at Rick's, by the way? Like, let's sort of clear the air there with like your musical, like showmanship. Did you play at Rick's as well, like downtown, or did you? Oh, wait, and then they had like one year. I think where the school is located, like right where the school is located between the library and the Alhambra Library and the school, high school. There was a show there, and they had all these like rock bands from the '70s turn out, and Casey and the Sunshine was there. You remember that? Did you ever play at any of those?
No, did not. My neighbor told me a lot about those though, but
Hmm.
yeah, I never quite got to catch any of those in Alhambra. I saw Foreigner play in Alhambra
Me
once for
too.
free. Yeah.
Me too. It was there, right in between the high school and the library
Yeah, I
at
think
the same
so.
stage. Yeah. Oh my God, dude, we were both at the same place. That was many moons ago. It's at least 12 or 14 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
about right.
Wow, dude, that is so crazy. You were there. That was such a turnout. Wasn't it insane? And they rocked out, didn't they? They
Yeah, I
really
think they
rocked
had
out.
like Led Zeppelin's drummer's son, John Bonham's son, was on drums with them, if I remember correctly.
Wow.
I remember they threw some picks out, and I just got lucky and threw my hand up and
Mhm.
caught a few. I'm like, all right, that doesn't happen all the time. That was really cool.
How was that? How did your first love for guitar start? Like where did it start? At home? Would you say?
I think I was just always exposed to music because my parents played it. I was my dad insisted on driving to every state in the United States, including Canada. And that was both gnarly, but at the same time, a big test in patience.
Yeah,
Because
I'll
sometimes,
say.
sometimes I tell the story and everyone's like, "Wow, that's amazing!" But at times, we didn't have phones, iPads, video games. Sometimes you're just sitting in a car for 13 hours and it's like, oh, that desert looks beautiful. But 13 hours in the same desert, it's like, wow, I want to go to my hotel. But
Sure.
what I think it really challenged my patience, my imagination. But, to cut to the chase, my parents played a lot of Beatles, Rolling Stones, and that's like the soundtrack of my childhood. It really resonated with me. And
Mm.
I remember when my father would play a lot of vinyl records, and I said, I really like Spanish guitar, and I don't know much about it, but the sound is really nice. And
Mhm.
he played for me a flamenco record. It was called Juan Serrano, Music of Spain and the Old World. And yeah, it just melted my heart, and I'm like, that's
Mind
beautiful.
blowing.
So I mean, I love it all. I love the hard grittiness of rock, and I love the soft, just romantic. I mean, flamenco Spanish guitar is not always it's definitely not always soft, but
Yeah.
just that
Do you ever go to
contrast in
Yeah,
music and life
yeah.
in general. But
I think I'm right there with you, bro. Totally, I get you. And do you ever go to Granada, that club, that nightclub that where they dance salsa and they have Spanish music? Do you ever go there in Alhambra?
I went to a flamenco club in El Monte. I think I might
Yeah.
have went to. I mean, I've been
Mhm.
to like clubs with
Yeah.
friends in
Yeah.
Alhambra. I may have not remembered the name.
Mhm.
I think
Mhm.
it's fascinating that Alhambra is like named after Granada, Spain, so much, and that's where I got to study. And it kind of feels like, hey, this is
Wow.
kind of close to home or deja
Yeah.
vu.
Well, at least I'm glad someone knows the history of Alhambra, because many of people don't realize that that's from Spain, from El Alhambra, Granada, right? From
Yeah,
España.
it was
España.
the palace there. It's
Yeah.
absolutely beautiful. It's mind blowing.
That's why they have the arches. You ever see how they try to recreate the just the entrance of it, Alhambra, and they did something like that, kind of uh, reminiscent of the actual location off of Valley, and I want to say Fremont on that corner.
Mm.
Where they have like, you know what I mean, like there used to be something else there, and then they leveled it. They made like a garden, a rose garden, as it were, and then they have like a little Alhambra thing. But I'm super happy that and excited that you have some stories from Spain. Um, did you like early on, who were your classical rock influences? Because there's a few classically trained musicians that you and I know of. Who did you look up to?
Well, when you talk about, I guess, classically trained rock guitarists,
Hmm.
the one that comes
Hmm.
to mind first would be The Doors. I think it's Robbie Krieger. I don't know. I sometimes I apologize. I get their names mixed up. But
Yeah.
yeah, he was classically and flamenco trained, and one of the only rock guitar players plays with his fingers. I mean, I just love the
Hmm.
Doors. Their bluesy,
Yeah.
groovy, like psychedelic sound. So that was definitely a big one for
Yeah.
me. I know I mean, if you do the
You
research,
like
you might find a lot of the
you
rockers
like
are.
Randy Rhoads? Randy Rhoads is classically trained.
I didn't know that, but yeah,
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
that guy
Hmm.
shreds. Yeah,
Unbelievable, huh? And
unbelievable. Yeah,
Eddie Van Halen was also, and I think Kirk Hammett as well from Metallica. Speaking of Metallica, yeah.
yeah.
Um, do you find that do you I mean everything kind of happens with I mean I'm not a musician by any stretch of the imagination. I'm not, obviously I know very basic guitar. I've written songs, I can write songs, but in my own way. However, you're trained, you're an educator, you played, you jam professionally, and I think you were hoping you were going to get another band together. It's what some of the guys were saying when we went
Oh
to
yeah.
Horseman. Um, do you find how do you define like the spectrum of music now? I'm talking about rock. Now we're talking about rock music. Okay,
Okay.
do
Yeah.
you find that uh everything starts with the blues, it starts with the fundamentals, right? And you had like the classical, you had everything. But do you think music has lost its way? Musicians, I'm talking about um more so in the rock realm. Do you think they've lost their way with the guitars and the sound and the noise? You know what I mean? Like the like hard, like it's a lot of it is. And I'm not judging. Obviously, I like this stuff, but I want to see what your perception of it is, because you come from like your earlier foundations got classical guitar, and then you have the grittiness, like you said. 70s, 80s, right?
Yeah.
Fast forward year 2025. Like, what guitarists capture any of that? How about that?
2025.
Hmm.
I would say there's a lot of just like lesser known artists that
Okay.
are just coming up that probably deserve more. I mean, there's really more than I could name. I not like so like off the top of my head
Right,
have so
right,
many
right, right.
names to drop. But I mean, it's an interesting question that I mean, I could like come at it with many angles, like about
Yeah,
music today and rock
sure.
today. Like, starting
What do you
out
think
with like
of?
the
Mhm.
capabilities like someone has, like if you have a laptop or a phone, like you can essentially be your own studio. It might not be like ready to be mixed and released, but you can write songs and be everyone. So
Yeah,
essentially, I mean, anyone that has access to that can be a songwriter or hip hop producer, just out of their own house, and they have the ability to stream, maybe to get thousands of views without having to get signed. And that's really like it's hard to even like
yeah,
fathom how crazy that is.
yeah,
But the
yeah.
downside, I suppose, of that is, there's just this endless sea of millions of stuff, good and bad, and
Yeah,
it can feel daunting to even want to get involved in that. So I see
yeah,
that like now that most musicians have to also be content creators, whether they want to or not. Like it's like, oh, you want to promote yourself, you want to, if you want to go that social media route, you don't have to. But
sure.
like if they do, it's just like, okay, you're gonna have to like learn how to make content, engaging 30-second, 1 minute reels, etc. And yeah, I mean that's the both the good and bad of that.
Yeah,
I mean, as
yeah,
far as like what I think like the big corporations, festivals, like record companies. Like I think
yeah,
there's still some of that where they're like, oh, we're looking for the next, like, maybe young band. But there's so much just like marketing in that too that it just becomes almost like a popularity contest. And like, yeah, no, maybe this newer, younger band, younger, whether they're 16 years old or 30 years old, and they got a great sound. And but
yeah,
if it's not the sound that the big companies are looking for, then they have to find their own niche. And I think that's where that real value also comes in like making our own DIY scene. Like, okay, if we don't have to be in the bigs or their scene, we can make our own scene. And that's kind of the ethos behind
right,
what we do with putting the kids shows together. and
sure.
and I can't speak for the other collaborators of mine, but my
Yeah,
program being just making this experience accessible. So
yeah.
it's a great question. Could go on that for
I know,
hours.
but because I love music so much, my dad was a Tex-Mex musician, so I come from like a line of musicians myself. I tend to not consider myself a musician because it's like more of a hobby to me, you know.
Mhm.
Nevertheless, I have a good ear for music, and I was exposed to just like you to a lot of time, like just a slew of music along the spectrum of guitar and drums and that stuff, from Tool to Zeppelin to Metallica, Sepultura, Pantera, and all everything in between. I find that um if I was in conversely, if you were asking me that question, I find that there are, like you said, you're right about that. There are bands that are emerging, new artists that are not don't have a name, like they're like no namers per se just yet, but they're taking up, like picking up the mantle from where the bands of the olden days, kind of left off, and they're creating a new fusion of music that it's got both, it captures the past with kind of like a new edge, you know.
Mhm.
And it's really, really interesting to see where music is going. But I just wanted to pick your brain about that because you, as a guitarist, what do you think, like in terms of the future, and some of the artists now? What got you interested in like the whole mixing of tech and guitar and that sort of thing, like um, that genre that you got into? Were you always interested in it, other than, or was it so pure experimental?
A little bit of both. I just love music. I try to listen to it as unbiased as possible. When I was a kid, like I would went through my era. Oh, I like rock now, and I don't really like rap anymore. And I'm like, oh, now rap. And at the time, it did reflect what was good and bad. Now when I
Yeah,
look back, it's like, oh, rap
sure.
is where it's at. I'm like, rock is like whatever. And now as a, just as kind of a mentor, like I can't like
Yeah, love
really
it.
see things through a lens of saying, oh, this is good, this is bad. Those
Right.
words are
Right.
just opinions.
Yeah. You can't
But
be
like,
judgmental, right? You got to see it from the outside in, and be open minded, right? To creativity. Otherwise, it stunts the creativity. Wouldn't you agree in that sense?
yeah, definitely. And as far as tech goes, like, I mean, as soon as they develop, well, not, I mean, before, I mean, tech is like, oh, and like a monkey learned how to swing a stick and crack a coconut or something. But like, we were within the, how should I say, with the invention of any new technology is always meant with both excitement, fear, like tape
Mhm.
recording. Oh, that's
Sure.
like tech. And then the musicians were scared. Oh, is this going to replace live music? And legitimately it's a concern. and
Right, right.
and did it? No, they just exist in their own, like, it's kind of separate
Realm.
niches.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
as we're approaching the whole AI and all that crazy stuff, the same concerns apply. But dialing back a little bit, like, once like someone's like in a studio, like, because sometimes people can be very like judgmental, like, oh, they used
Mhm.
a lot of effects, and oh, you just pushed one key and all this arpeggio happened, like, you didn't really play that. And but for better, or say some people with their say biases against hip hop, like, oh, they just sample other music, or oh, like they make it on a drum machine, yada
Yeah,
yada. But like, you look at the musicians in the studio when they record, it's like, oh, that take was bad, okay, let's slice in right here
right,
and
right.
fix that. And I mean, those things are, as they would say, oh, quote unquote, like not the real, like, raw live experience.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
I think like technology is like something you gotta like just approach like with an open mind, and also treat it like a double-edged sword too. Like, like
What
you,
sense?
you don't like just want to let technology just do all the work for you. Like,
Okay,
with a
okay,
musical
okay.
interface, I can just
Mhm.
drag in a
Right,
drum beat,
right.
drag in a loop, be like, oh, look, I produced this
Yeah,
great
yeah.
beat. But that's equivalent to me like making a microwave dinner and serving it and be like, look at what I served, guys. Like, I'm the master chef. But
Yeah.
versus like,
But
say if someone is a master chef, like, oh, I served the microwave dinner, but I added a little bit of my own seasoning. So, or like, say for example, if someone's like goes on AI, says, make me a creative song. Okay, I'm
sure,
done. Versus someone's like
right.
uses the AI, but maybe they typed in a 200-word prompt and be like, help me organize maybe things.
Yeah,
So it's
yeah.
really, I think,
I see what you
how you
mean.
use it.
It's
It's a
it's
tool.
got to be less. It's a use it as a tool, right? And it's less contrived, but allow the magic to happen, right?
Yeah,
And then be unbiased to musical arrangement. Just allow things to happen via your creativity, not so much to let a machine do all the work. That's what I'm
right.
hearing. Um, and that's cool. And then you founded Rock Band Camp Revolution, bro. This is so next level to me and otherworldly because I seen some of the clips from the reels online and I delved a little bit into it and I love what you're doing. Can you explain to the audience, the viewership, the pivotal moment, like the moment we thought, you know what, this is it. I'm going to start on my own because you're the founder of the school. Tell us where it's located, and some of the places you they played because I understand they played at the Alhambra Lunar. Is that the Lunar gig in Rosemead or
Yeah,
something? Is that the one
we've been
where?
to a few low. We've had our,
Yeah,
some just different
yeah.
tours. You can say
Uh-huh.
mini tours and
It's cool, man.
like moments
Where did
of
it all start
super
for you, bro?
busy.
When did you think this little small little seed is going to germinate and create this school of rock and what you teach these students? There's a lot that goes involved in this, as I understand.
Well, I've worked as a guitar teacher for like over 20 plus years. I work at the Rosemead Rec Center, Saturday Conservatory of Music, Arcadia Music, various other locations that, like pop up and are, just moved on and are through. And my philosophy has always been to kind of like, instead of just get in and out, like some people like, oh, a job's a stepping stone. I want to
Right.
see like what I can leave behind. Like what legacy can I leave behind here? What difference can I make impactful, regardless if I stay or leave, I want to try to leave an impact. Like likewise, in the Saturday Conservatory, I helped. This is like kind of leading into how the rock band started.
Sure.
Um,
Absolutely.
I pushed to get a guitar ensemble there, get a rock band there. We finally did it last year, after much parent requests. Thanks.
Awesome.
And my philosophy is just like leave an impact where you go. Don't just think like, why don't we have something like this? Like create it. And it always helps write your ideas down. There's something magical about how just actually physically writing something on paper just
Tangible.
manifests
Mhm.
into reality. And like they say, a
Wow.
dream is like a goal and a dream. The difference between a goal and a dream is a goal has a deadline. A dream is just like, oh, I want to do that. Once you
Yeah.
start putting the deadlines on, like
The
things
dreams
start
become
you start
goals.
forming the
Right.
plan. Yeah.
Mm.
And that one point or another, like I realized like I wanted to have this because I would love to teach it, like to teach rock music, band music, and make it available to those that, like you said earlier, like opportunities I would have loved to have as a kid. That I loved my childhood, no complaints, but like
Yeah.
to present that makes me feel like very rewarded, and like you say, living vicariously through their experience.
That's right.
And I looked around for locations, like some things turned out to be like possible, but what eventually where we eventually got it launched off at was the after school I worked at, which is called New Light Learning Center, which sadly closed down last August.
Mm.
But that's
Sorry to
where we
hear that.
started the rock band camp Rosemead, as it was originally called, back around, like, I think it was 2018.
Mhm.
Um, and before I forget, I mean, I want to say about like rock or punk or metal that everyone deserves to at least have music, even if
Yeah.
like they don't decide to keep playing it or be like a
Sure.
professional.
Sure. Sure.
And, for some kids, like, maybe their school band playing their orchestra, it resonates with them, or their piano lessons. But for other kids, like they might it might not resonate with them as much as playing in the rock music.
Sure. Sure.
And if you ask me, even though I was classically trained and loved it, like
Yeah.
when I was young, like if my parents said, "Hey, you want to join the high school band? You like music?" I probably would have been like, "Nah." Or you want to join choir? I would have probably sooner like watched paint dry on a wall.
Yeah.
Do I regret
That's
that now? Yes, I do, because all the
yeah.
training. But I
Yeah.
mean, I think about
Yeah.
people thinking like me, like they might want the music,
Mhm.
but they don't have the music that speaks to them. And hence, I wanted to create that program. And it finally got launched at New Light Learning Center. We had just moments of great success and
Yes,
moments of
sir.
struggle, everything in between. And
It's like a movie,
yeah, we're
right? It's like
shooting
an arc.
fall.
It's got an arc.
Yeah,
It's like a film, you know, good and bad, and then culminates, and then it's the end of something, but it's the start of something else, which happens
yeah.
to be the case. So yeah, hearing you out, dude, it sounds like the soundtrack of my life.
Mm,
Like I wanted to be an actor early on, and I didn't tell a lot of people, a lot of my friends, because I had the imposter syndrome, because I had dealt with bullying in school and that
mm,
sort of thing, and because, like you said, there aren't that many. Sometimes the road that you see ahead is not painted, as a word, like it's not really delineated for you, it's not shown, you know what I mean, like there are bits and pieces everywhere. You have to start with something, laying down the first stone, or the first concrete, or whatever you want to call it. You lay out the first surface, and then on top of that, it's like a scaffold, you start growing more and more. However, a lot of times you don't know where to start, and like you said, sometimes, the school band, things like that, or small little community plays, like I did a few. You don't think that's really going to launch you into stardom, sometimes you want to kind of like run before you walk. and everything starts small, which is what I learned from watching the band, the Horsemen play.
Mm,
It starts with the parents, the community, coming collectively together. Going to your classes, with Andrew, and learning how to play instruments, how to the commitment, which you teach right at your school, to stay committed to you mentor the students, which when we were growing up there wasn't a whole lot of mentorship. I think you and I kind of grew up in around the same time, and a lot of there wasn't a kind of a blueprint, if you will, of how to do things. And now with the age of technology, and they got seen by Metallica, for crying out loud. This is their, this is like what I mean, they not only do they resonate with this music, this is their number one band, and they turn around and repost them on a thing. I mean, to you and I, just think for a second now, in this in obviously rhetorically, right? This question, bro, what do you think would have what would we have done, dude, back then if fucking ACDC would have reposted us? Like, you kind of go mad, you know what I mean?
yeah.
Or even acting, like some actor to say something to you, where now any actor could chime in and say, hey, way to go, dude. And you're like, so and so, that was so and so. It's not as far fetched, as before the whole celebrityism, as it were. But I kind of went off on a tangent here, Andrew. I am really grateful for what you do, man. And I want to ask you now about the challenges posed by the students. Do every student come into your school? Like, give us, sir, walk us through the process. Do not all students come in like gun ho and ready to rock and roll and learn? Some students come in shy, I imagine, right? What does that look like for you?
Yeah, like you said, there's some that are just like look like they're just born to perform. They're just like
Mhm.
radiate that even when they're just like having a conversation in the room. And students that won't even maybe talk to me for maybe months. I just get like a nod, yes or
Yeah,
no, but they're still there because they like something about it. They have a
music
curiosity. So
inclination. Mhm.
yeah, I know there's no cookie cutter method to teaching and teaching in any subject, but for my what I work in,
Your
martial
niche.
arts,
Mhm.
music, and I guess you kind of got to just try to get down to finding out a little bit more of who they are, who they like, what they want to express. Like if I have someone's just like, I want to be the next superstar, and I'll say, okay, well, let's go. We got work to do. I
Sure.
might find someone to say, like, I like this as a fun hobby to experience with my friends, but I don't really want to be like famous or anything. And yeah, I'm not going to change their life trajectory. However,
Trajectory.
I'm going to tell them that, but we are a rock band. We are going to perform,
Mhm.
and then like you're gonna have to get over like these things in life, like as in performing in front of people, stage fright, and I'm explain how that's going to benefit them later on in life. So yeah, it's like helping them grow to get over stage fright. Because like some of us musicians, like we are like so introverted, like, but when we're on stage you don't see that. And I
You're
think that's
right.
kind of fascinating too. Like someone could just be like not talking much, don't say much, they don't want to be center of attention or anything, but if you hand them that instrument or microphone,
Come alive.
they come
Yeah.
alive. Yeah, and it's really magical to
And
find
rewarding,
to
right?
see
And
that
rewarding
and
for
bring it
you.
out of people. But I mean, at the very basic level, just teaching somebody to just say, hey, you can get on stage and you have the courage to get over it. And if you do great, then yeah, you feel good about yourself. I'm like, and if you don't think you did good or made mistakes, that's part of the learning, and that's what everyone goes through. Don't give up. Just go hit the drawing board again. Be like, how can I, how can I get better? But ultimately, it's helping people of all ages grow because
Wait,
every time
just
someone plays,
mhm.
yes, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Let me interject real quick, and I hate to do this to you. You're saying people of all ages, so it's not just for teens and children; it's for adults as well.
Well, most of my bands I teach are younger students, even though there is no real age limit. Um, However, I have adults that inquire about wanting to be in bands. They want to play with other adults, understandably. So it's kind of like, okay, we'll keep your email and see we can, when we have enough people, to get it together. But I guess, speaking about adults, from my experience from just being a private teacher, I've worked with all ages, and yeah, it's really about learning about yourself, because when you play music, you learn about feeling your own
Sure.
emotions. You learn to know yourself, and I think that's what
Yeah.
makes it a better person, um, even by just playing one simple note on an instrument.
Wow. Mind blown, bro. I resonate with everything you talked about. I see, you're in more than one way inspiring, bro. Like it's just phenomenal what you do. Um, what part of when you see the Horsemen up there, when you see the other band, young ladies, playing and up there on stage, what emotions come to your mind? You get flooded with different emotions. Can you tell us what does that feel like, man?
It is definitely like it is definitely a array of different emotions. Like,
Right.
I mean, it's like, like a parent watches their student perform. They're probably not as laxed as when they're watching the other kids. They're just like, oh, like
Get
giddy,
all giddy,
excited, but all
get all
nervous, like,
giddy.
oh my gosh, did they make a mistake? And yeah, there's that too. And I have to be on point to see if I can fix the things that I can, control. Oh, somebody's guitar strap fell. Go up and fix it. Like, oh, the
Sure.
microphone's falling. So I got to be alert. I can't just be like, yeah, zone out in the moment and dance. Like, um, but some things are out of my control. Like, say someone's just like missed their cue and they're off timing, and it's like, yeah, still have to smile and enjoy it and say, well, we'll talk about it later. I don't, stress out, because performance is not supposed to be perfect. But sometimes things are just going really well on all ends, and I'm just legitimately just rocking out as if
Yeah.
I was at a show.
Um, yeah, man. Love your humbleness, dude, and how you approach things, and you're very observant and you watch from afar. I noticed that, and that's why I wanted to talk to you because you were kind of the centerpiece of the band in a way. You were a cornerstone of it, in a sense. You help the students. You help them in some way, shape, or form. They had it in them, and then they came together, and you help polish them in some way. Teachers, everyone goes through a teacher, and needless to say, this ensemble of young boys, young men, I want to call them, but they're young boys, are putting together something phenomenal that further down the line it's gonna go many places. It already is, and you're instrumental in that, bro, in that sort of trajectory. So I just want to thank you for that, personally, because I felt it. Being there live and watching them rock out and seeing them and looking at you and you're behind them, and it's just kind of like you reinforce that they're doing the right thing. The parents, of course, I thanked them right before I left, because that's one of the things. Without the parents, undying and what do you call it, support, the kids
Yeah.
would, they wouldn't even make it to the first rehearsal, let alone play in a band. Now let me ask you what I meant to ask you. Like, there's an amalgamation of feelings that come, but boy, man, you must feel accomplished, like when you see a band come together and play, and you sort of watching that sort of happen right before your eyes. Besides the obvious, the misty eyes and whatnot. I mean, the first time anyway, a couple times, it's got to tell you, like, dude, this is the mission I set out to. My job here is done, kind of thing. In a sense. Does that? Do you kind of uh, concur with that?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, sometimes I never want to say done, always dream bigger and work
Right, right,
harder.
right.
But sometimes it's just like you feel like, okay, today's, like in like a shorter term, like, oh, you
Sure.
finished your chores, you went to
Yes.
work, you fed the dog, and you're like, okay, I'm good for today. I can hang up my hat, watch some TV, and just chill. And in a longer trajectory, you know, like, oh, we
Yeah.
spent months for the show, worked from beginning to end. And
Yeah,
then,
man.
you know, a good show or a just like the culmination event is
Culmination.
over. And yeah, it's
Come to
not time to
fruition.
say, oh, this was bad, this was good. Just like this, we did it.
We
And then say,
rocked
yeah,
out,
it's time
bro.
to
We
hang up
rocked
the
out.
hat
Yeah.
and tomorrow's a new day and start fresh. Yeah.
What's your one of your favorite performances you've seen to date from your students? I know they're all great in many ways. So what's the one that really got you like feeling, wow, we really came and left it here, man, on stage? What you
There's,
say?
yeah, I'm fortunate to say there's so many, but
Yeah.
I'll just go off the top of my
The
head. But
Saint Gabriel, yeah.
San Gabriel, yeah, that Lunar New Year when we were on the big stage, that was awesome. We had like three different like kind of bands, even if they're mixing the same members.
Super cool.
That was a big like milestone for rock band. I remember when my other group I coached, the Rose Hooligans,
The ones I've
did the youth
seen.
summit at the it was I think Garvey Elementary School for
Very familiar
Asian
with that area.
Pacific clinics. And yeah, at first the guys were like, wait a minute, only one song. And I'm like, yeah, but that's like, you know, they're not going to give you an hour set. They never heard of you. I'm like, but think about it. This is an event and you get to do it. And they're like, you know, I said, just do
Wow.
it. Trust me.
Yeah.
And they just opened up with, I said, we got to do something that's impactful. They did Rage Against the Machine, Testify, which medleyed into um gosh, I'm like losing the name of the it's like their most popular song, but the I won't do what you tell me, you know,
Yeah.
killing in the
Yeah.
name of.
Killing
And
in
yeah,
the
the
name of.
crowd went absolutely nuts. The energy on stage was tremendous. And I was really proud of that. I think
That's
for
so
me,
beautiful, bro.
one of the most emotional gigs for me was when the school closed down in August. And I'm just like, I want to make this like the party I've always wanted to have here. I want the kids to just
Wow,
feel
with the
like this is
bang.
their spot. Yeah. So we invited the Horsemen, Sister. We had Rose Hooligans, and I called it their younger sister band, the Rock Eaters. And like that was their first like show of their own songs that they did. And and yeah, it was everything I hoped it could be. And it was of
And
course
more.
emotional because it was like I know like this is our last
Closing the chapter.
waltz here and putting that, you know, just tailing off of that, like, because people might be wondering, like, you know, at that time it was like, oh, rock band's dead. I'm like, no, it isn't. I'm like, rock band's not a location. I'm like, rock band is in here,
Right.
and
Right.
sure enough, we're opening up some new locations. Alhambra, I don't know if you might have seen
Good.
that,
Yeah.
and yeah, we'll throw some plugs at the end for our upcoming shows. But yeah,
It's in this. It's. You got it, man. You got it.
yeah,
You are the rock band. You are the linchpin to this whole thing and the movement. And it's a movement. It's
yeah,
not brick and mortar or whatever you want to call it. It's not a location like you said. It's us. It's that spirit that goes with you, the soul of rock and roll. And that's fantastic that you have that sort of, you channel that idea, because that's really it. And when you teach that, you're actually teaching them a lot, man. You're teaching them to restart, to new beginnings, fresh pastures, as it were. And you're going to those places and starting over, and you impact other kids as well. Um, so wow, wow, where did time go? And keep looking at it's like 40, almost 45, and we were just getting started. Anytime I have anyone that specifically with rock music, I can go on and on forever. So kudos to you, to what you do, Andrew. What if you could collaborate with anyone, a dream collaboration? I'm talking about you as a musician in the past. It could be someone from the past. It could be a jamming session we're talking about here, or somebody from now, current times. Who would it be, man? Dead or alive?
oh gosh, that's such a good question. I mean, surprisingly, I really just love just like the the hip hop is a huge side of me. When you know music enough, you don't see such difference hip hop and rock and like I
They
would
all
love
come from
to
the same
collab with
roots. They all come from the same roots, right?
Yeah, I'd love to make beats with some of those like just early like beat producers like
Sure.
from New York and the Wu-Tang Clan and or Mad Lib and Dr. Dre just being in the lab just dropping beats and yeah, I really like really love a lot of the old East Coast hip hop a lot. And I'm sorry, West Coast. I love West Coast. I love you guys too, but
Hey, wait a minute.
that East Coast
Sure, sure.
stuff
No, I
really
get
just
it.
resonates with me. So
You Run
it's
DMC guy? You grew up with Run DMC?
oh
I'm
yeah,
a
yeah.
DJ. That's our time, right?
Yeah, well, Far Side, Tribe Called Quest.
Hmm. Wow. Um, phenomenal, bro. What let me ask you a few questions. What's your favorite? Let's talk about favorite guitarist now. What's your favorite guitarist? Who's your favorite guitarist of all time?
That's a question that I really have no answer to. Like bands, guitarist, music style,
Okay.
song. Like I'm very temperamental. I'm very moody and emotional. These
Right.
are good qualities sometimes for someone that creates. But yeah, like my vibe is just whatever
Love it. What you're
I'm
feeling at the
jamming
time.
out to.
Yeah.
But
What go ahead.
yeah. Oh
No,
no,
go
no,
ahead.
that was it pretty
You
much. Yeah, I
sure?
mean, right now I'm just vibing out to like some like honestly like harpsichord music by Domenico Scarlatti, just feeling like that kind of Halloweenish kind of
Yeah.
vampire like vibes and
'Tis the
yeah,
season, right?
yeah.
Most underrated band ever for you.
Oh man. Well, that's a tough one. Yeah, there's
Okay, I got one for
oh wait,
you.
I
Go
think
ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
um I'd say like Buffalo Springfield, Neil
Great
Young, and
band.
Crazy Horse. I mean, there's
Crazy.
there's thousands that I'm not going to mention and that I'll forget to mention. But
Iron Butterfly, right?
Iron Butterfly, yeah, they have that soul. Like people think just that they're heavier psychedelic stuff, but there's so
Yeah,
much like soul, like in
sure.
their playing a Grand Funk Railroad.
Wow.
The Guess Who. I
The
love the
Guess
variety of the
Who.
Guess
Wow.
Who. Yeah.
I haven't heard of that in a while, dude. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Like I think people think American Woman sounds like a hard, like, like
Yeah.
60s rock, but you listen to some of their early albums, like man, they take you on a
Whole
real
different
journey.
journey.
These
Yeah.
Eyes. Um,
Yeah, that's a good one. These eyes. Um, okay. Let's say here we go. The question of questions, bro. I'm gonna have to ask you. I'm sorry, dude. You're gonna kill me, but I'm gonna have to ask it anyway. Sabbath. We're talking about Sabbath days.
mm,
Dio years or Ozzy years? Forget that he founded the band. Dio or Ozzy? Who are you? An Ozzy
I
man? Dio.
I mean I love the Deal stuff. Like it goes hard. I love his voice. For me, just because of what I listen to more, that
Sure.
through my life and who I've seen Dio live once with
Yeah, me
Sabbath.
too.
I saw Sabbath like
Phenomenal.
3 times. Um, I mean the Aussie stuff is I feel the catalog is just enormous.
Sure.
Not to
Right.
to
Yeah.
downplay Dio, but just saying for me in my personal experience, like it would be like Ozzy. If they had to say who could you choose if you never could listen to one or another again, I'd be
Yeah.
like, oh
Yeah.
no, don't say that. I'll probably
Yeah. All
just
right.
like
Sammy Hagar or Diamond Dave?
um probably Diamond Dave, yeah.
Because you're a Pasadena guy. Just kidding.
Oh, I love Pasadena, yeah.
Yeah.
PCC, where I learned classical guitar. It's
Yeah.
Professor
Oh
Steve
shit.
Jones.
Wow. That's freaking phenomenal. That is so great. Man, you're a hometown legend, dude. Keep on rocking in the free world. Andres Serra, man. Andrew, you're phenomenal, bro. We got to rock out sometime.
Yeah,
Let's make some music, bro. I'm down to collaborate and write some songs.
we got a
Be
show
the
coming up
guitar player.
on in Alhambra on Halloween.
Okay.
I think you saw the ad probably on
Yeah,
Rock
why
Band
don't you go
Camp
ahead and plug
IT.
that in right now, bro?
Yeah, we got a show coming up on Halloween at the Mason Lodge in Alhambra between 5 to 9 p.m. We got some great bands on the bill. And yeah, you can check that out and all their other upcoming shows at Instagram Rock Band Camp. So yeah, that I really appreciate you having me, and it was a blast just
It
answering
was a
these
blast.
questions.
Yeah, I had some good questions for you lined up. You didn't think I would, right? So that dude doesn't know music.
No,
Well, no, you do. But
I treated it like I was getting ready for a martial arts match. I'm like, oh my gosh,
we
here we
didn't
go.
delve into your martial arts. Um, okay, where did you train? Did you train like in Alhambra also? Because I trained with Master Kim. Remember Master Kim?
Okay.
Yeah, in
I know the
Alhambra.
studio is on Las Tunas.
Mm.
I'm thinking that's Hapkido, right? Or
I think that's
Taekwondo.
that's Hapkido. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
I did some martial arts there with Master Kim. He's still there, I think his son probably now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I drove it by it a million times, but
Yeah.
never got to stop in.
Tell the truth, Andrew. You go to that McDonald's next to it, right? You park and it's like
For the coffee, yeah, I can't beat their
right. Because you're a
price.
vegetarian, aren't you? Vegan?
Yes.
Mm.
No, not vegan, just
Mostly
vegetarian,
vegetarian.
but if
Good.
there's a good vegan option, like
Yeah,
I'll pay the extra dollar or whatever.
sure. All right. So, Andrew, it's been nothing but a joy having you on the show. Thank you once
Thank
again
you.
for agreeing to come on. You're so gracious in coming on. Almost Famous Radio
Anytime.
Podcast. Yours truly, Jim Francis Mesa, the one and only Mr. Andrew Serra, Sir Andres Serra. Love it. Keep on rocking, my boy. Hey, let's talk soon. And then once again, plug in the Halloween thing. When is it?
Halloween,
First?
the October
Halloween.
31st, a week from tomorrow, so Friday. Yeah, at the Alhambra
Okay.
Masonic Center. A lot of candy, a lot of
I was going to
giveaways.
ask that if there was going to be candy.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
Righteous. All right, dude. Hey, man. Thanks so much. Say hi to the horsemen for me and all the wonderful parents.
Will do.
Yeah, dude. I appreciate you, dude. Just know that. Okay. Everything
Yeah,
you're doing,
same.
man. I live vicariously through you, bro. Seriously. What you do is a testament of great people. You want to see, be the change you want to see in the world, as Gandhi once said it. And that's exactly
Mhm.
what you're doing, my man. So hats off to you. With that said, guys, that's my show. Almost Famous Radio Podcast. Jim Francis Mesa. Thank you so much. Peace out. Hello and goodbye until we meet again, someone said.